You know what I found out, or what I believe from the research I've done on phones and the new research coming out about psilocybin and hallucinogenics. The things that people think they're hallucinating, but they're not hallucinating. You know, they're seeing parts of reality that it takes instruments for us to actually know they're there. To where in reality all we have to do is take these hallucinogenics and we'd be able to see it. You know, and then I realized how phones work and cellular towers work. The main component being these types of crystals, magnetized crystals, supporting the signal and all that. So with that research, I've come to believe schizophrenia is actually telepathy. And the only reason they make it all schizophrenic and stuff like that, and they want you to go help. Well, see, the meds they give you for schizophrenia, it literally melts your prefrontal cortex. That's what you use to think. It doesn't affect your hearing part of your brain at all. To how you can hear it. It just melts your ability to think for yourself. So, yeah, you can call me a conspiracy theorist or whatever, but the science backs it up. It really does. The science backs up that schizophrenia is actually telepathic network. And some people aren't supposed to be on it, so when they get on it, everybody attacks them. Or maybe just everybody's attacking everybody on there for the most part. And nobody wants to talk about it out loud. And since our government supports that schizophrenia as a mental illness, and they recommend brain melting pharmaceuticals, well, I'm sorry, I have no respect for my government anymore because of that. And this is worldwide. Everybody, it's because you were hearing things and stuff. Well, of course they would say that, because if there's a telepathic communication network going on, and let's say it's happening in each area where there are people listening to thoughts, well, how can they steal our ideas? Huh? How can they just, it's just like our phone. Our phones prove it. I want you guys to look at this. Like, I want you to think of a product, what you're thinking about or whatever, while you're on your phone. Just think of the product. Don't say it out loud. Don't look it up. Just think of it while whatever. And then while scrolling through whatever social media or whatever you have, that has lots of ads, I want you to see that product start popping up. Boom. That means we've gotten to the point where we can use technology to be able to read thoughts. And we've applied it in such a way that it automatically gives us the products we're looking for. And it would make sense, It really would. Because the brain just doesn't make things up. I'm sorry. Sometimes it gets super depressed and everything, but there's always a reason. There's always a reason behind it. So saying that, I'm hearing these voices and they're just made up, they don't exist at all, it's impossible. Scientifically, it's impossible. You cannot. Your brain cannot do it. At the most it can do is you could lose control of your brain, and you don't recognize your own thoughts as yourself. Because let's say you try to be somebody so much. Let's say you try to mimic somebody's voice, personality, and all that stuff. That's the most is you don't recognize your own inner voice. That's the most that could happen scientifically. Which would become confusion. But if you're hearing multiple voices and they're all talking, We'll go out and test it out. You know, like with no actual intention to hurt anybody. Cause I don't. I'm a very. I get angry sometimes and I have bad thoughts or whatever. But I really don't want to hurt anybody in my life. But just start thinking crazy things around people. You know, and watch how they act differently. Because even if they're not aware of it, you know, they're aware of it. Even if it's at a subconscious level. And that tells me that there's something big going on, you know, or not big. It's just, it is what it is. You know, like imagine a mother having to listen to her kids all the time, you know, type of stuff because whatever, you know, it would get annoying. So they, you know, and they want to know what their kids are really doing. So they wouldn't tell them about it. They would just be like, oh, what did you do? And the kid would be like, in his mind, he's saying the truth. Oh, I went and killed the chicken in the neighbor's coop and whatever. But really, they're like, oh, nothing. Just going hanging out in the woods by the river. And then yet, now the mom knows the truth. It's a very short-sighted solution to anything. Because our brains are advancing more and more rapidly, even though they're intentionally being dumbed down. Oh, we're only at, you know, what does it say? We're only at 15% of our brain. Ah. Well, that means that our brains are actually capable of running at 100%, but something is stopping it. You know, if we weren't capable of using all that parts of our brain, it wouldn't be there. You know, it might take practice, you know, but you should be able to learn how to use the majority of your brain before the halfway point of your life. Because right now we're at like 70, so the halfway point would be, you know, 30, 35. So before that halfway point, we should be able to use the majority of our brain. You know, anywhere from 80 to 100%, anywhere between there. But we're not. We're not even close. You know, because we're intentionally being dumbed down. And I have my other theories